a lot of what you teach is related to this idea of being entrepreneurial. So helping data scientists and probably related kinds of professionals, ML engineers, software developers, to build and influence, to show impact, to sell projects internally. And so there's a lot of content out there that focuses on hard skills. And it seems like these kinds of trainings, this kind of content on political maneuvering and marketing yourself effectively
Yeah.
internally, it's huge for career success, as I'm sure you know as a career coach.
Hmm.
And I agree with completely. And so I'd love to dig into that a little bit more here. I guess what are some of the kinds of key tips that you have for people if they want to be? I mean, with some of these things we already talked about in your earlier answers. So things like, you know, being mindful about cost, being mindful about legal issues, security issues, all those kinds of things. Things like creating a demo in Streamlit or in Gradio, those kinds of tools make it easier to sell something internally because people can kind of click
Yeah.
around and try it and like use maybe a simple model that you built to prove some point. Some When you're trying to build an MVP model, you can have those MVP models surfaced inside of these apps, inside of these like simple apps. Gradio apps can take seconds to build and you could show those off. So those are some of the examples that you've already talked about that are great. But I don't know, I hadn't kind of explicitly asked you this question of whether you have specific kinds of tips or common mistakes that you see on these kinds of soft skills that are so important. Building influence, marketing projects, selling them internally.
Yeah, you're talking about building influence internally. Yeah, I think the common mistake is just not trying at all. They usually, a lot of people feel I don't have anything to showcase, or people would think build relationship people is like politics. To me, I think politics is a neutral word. Maybe we don't like it. We can call it build a relationship with people. Um, I think previous I mentioned a little bit why it's important. For example, when I was in a team at Amazon in Seattle, I had a mentor, and she just genuinely liked to connect with people. And sometimes we think building influence, meaning you have to be loud, you have to be super extroverted, always talk about your achievement, which is kind of off putting. She's very low key. She doesn't even give a lot of presentations. She still does, but she would network with a principal engineer or scientist to know what they're working on. If she's interested, she will tell them, "Hey, this is my skill set. How about we work on this project together?" So sometimes working with a senior or principal scientist can help you build more skills and or helpful for your promotion if that's what you care about. So basically, she doesn't wait for her manager to assign a project for her. She would mold her project on her own. Of course, you don't want to bypass your manager. Of course, I think she would get an okay from her manager when she does this. And also, she has this superpower. She became friends with the EA, the assistant of a director. So sometimes if you want to, of course, as a IC, you don't really get FaceTime from director, but I think some of her project has that visibility. And then the EA would help her get into like a meeting, or sometimes, of course, the EA won't share anything confidential. But if that's just something okay to share, maybe what the director is kind of working on, what his focus, and that would be useful for her projects, right? So, and also sometimes you work on a project, maybe your stakeholder uh, is moving to another team, or and you need to know who is someone gonna take over, right? This person also need to be familiar with the metrics. You need to also get support from them. And if you don't know this, when your current stakeholders left, maybe the new person will abandon the project that you have been working on for the past year. So I think building those relationships, this network at work is very important, and you have to be genuine. I have definitely been on a side when I feel someone asked me to do something for them, or act very friendly, but later I found this person kind of just is very not even transactional, it's just one-sided. When they use me, I help them interview some people, um, give them some advice on their project, but later on this person kind of just disappeared, or pretend they don't know me very well. So you there's a way to build relationship at work, and also be genuine. And also you need to know that everyone is busy. You don't always have to say network with the director. Sometimes maybe the director is your stakeholder, but the person, maybe there's a senior engineer on the team that's you collaborate with more often, and then just build a relationship with this engineer. When I say build a relationship, maybe just um, have some schedule some type of sync up with this person, and then also be curious about this person. Hey, what are the project you're working on? And know whether they have enough capacity to invest your current project, or maybe go look at this person's LinkedIn. What's their background? Maybe they studied, I don't know, mechanical engineer. You also studied mechanical engineer, and then there's something you can bond with. I think it just a lot of times that people have this fear about um, kind of networking, or they would feel, oh, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer. Those things are below me. They have this ego, this pride. They don't do this type of things. So beside the things you can do interpersonally, there's also things you can do. For example, you can say, oh, I recently done this project. It could be very simple. You use your internal tool, you automated some process. Maybe it's not data science or ML related at all, but it will help your team's productivity. Maybe you can ask your manager, hey, how about we do like a lunch learn lunch and learn session, and you can showcase your work. Or you can submit to some internal conference. There are other ways for you to you know build influence, or something very simple. Maybe you get a lot of requests from your stakeholder side, you can host a training for them, you can do an office hour. So there are a lot of ways that you can build influence without being, you don't have to be this social butterfly without being annoying.